Hello, this is Stan Smith, founder of Pushing Social and author of Born to Blog, and today I'm going to continue the videos I've been doing on how to get your opt-in forms from your email service provider into your blog. Now, this is something that usually confuses people, creates grief for people, so a lot of times you'll see opt-in forms and sidebars of blogs that are not aligned correctly or don't seem to work well, and as a result they don't get used that much and the person's email list doesn't grow. So as a reader of Pushing Social and as probably a member of the PS Mastermind, or having gone through any one of my workshops, you know that I'm a big fan of using email opt-ins and growing your list, and I'm putting together this video just to make it a little bit easier for you. So there's another video that I've done that you'll find in the training area about how to add an Aweber opt-in form to your blog. This video will focus on how to add a MailChimp form to your blog. Okay, both of these services are great. They do a great job. There is a different process for getting your opt-in form that you've created in MailChimp into your sidebar of your blog. So what you see right here is actually picking up from the last video I did, and this is actually an Aweber form. And what we're going to do now is get a MailChimp form into this area. So what you would do is that you would log in to MailChimp, okay, and I've just logged into my account here. And what you need to do is you need to go to the list where you want to create a form for. So here, just for example, and just for this training, I'm just going to just create a form for my 1K Reader Challenge webinar that I held last year. But let's say I wanted to build this list by adding an opt-in form in my sidebar. So in MailChimp, you can either go to design sign up forms, or you can actually go over here to this gear, click on it, and it brings up a drop-down menu. You can go to forms right here. I prefer to do that because I can take out a step and go directly into the list I want to create a form for. So you hit your forms link that's in that drop-down, and what you're going to be presented with here is basically a WYSIWYG drag and drop editor for modifying your form. Okay, so you can go in here and you can add first name, last name, take out or add preferred format. Any of the things that you see on the right hand side here are the options that MailChimp gives you to do. Now, one thing that you should be aware of is that your form is going to have to be a lot narrower than this to actually get into your sidebar. Now, from a previous training, I know that this area right here is about 250 pixels wide, okay, to use it effectively. So you want to make sure that the form that you end up using is about 250 pixels wide. So if we go back to MailChimp, what I want to do here is actually go to a spot where I can actually configure the width of my form. And actually MailChimp makes that simple. You go into share it, okay? And from here, you go into create HTML code for a small subscribe form. So you would click that, and it will bring up these options for you. So this is your create form embed code. An embed code is just a piece of computer code that you need to put into your blog to show your form, okay? Now, MailChimp gives you three options to work with here. First, you're going to get a super slim form, which is a form that's designed really for your sidebar, but we're not going to use a super slim form because it puts some coding into your form that we don't want to have to deal with on the blog side. Now, and you have the classic form, which is a very nice looking form. But again, this particular option gives us some code on the back end that is going to trip us up. So we're not going to use that. We're going to actually use a naked form here, where, as you can see, has all of its options kind of stripped out and is just a bare bones form. Now, if your form doesn't look like this, you may need to go in and just take out some things. For example, you may need to unclick in your options area. You may need to unclick a title for your form, because if you had it there, it'll look like this. You may want to take that out. You might have some interest group fields or required field indicators there that puts the asterisk and this here that says that fields are required. You can leave that in if you like, but I like to take that out. And then there's another option where you can actually have the email format. The person can select the email format that they would like to receive emails in. I usually take that out as well. What you want to make sure here is that your form width is set to 250 pixels, because remember in the beginning we saw that that was the best width for our form. So that is set correctly. And then from here you just hit create embed code and scroll down and you'll see the embed code that we will need to use right here. Okay, and all of the information that we need, all we have to do is go ahead and select it all and then copy it with Command click on a Mac or Control C or Command C on a Mac and a Control C on PC, and then go over to your blog back area. So you want to go back to your widgets area as an appearance widgets, and we're going to pull over another text area right here where we can put in any kind of HTML or text code we want. We'll put in our form code. That's by Command V for paste or Control V on a PC for paste, and you'll see that our code is there ready for us to stylize. We'll hit save and we'll go back to the front end to see how that looks. Okay, so as you can see here, this is just a very bare bones form, and it usually takes on the same theme colors that you have for your blog. Okay, so you can see here that the subscribe button is this blue that is the same theme color here. So this is, like I said, looks exactly like your MailChimp area, and it's ready for you to stylize. So let's say that we want to go ahead and use this code or use this text here in our MailChimp form. Just to make it easier for the training, I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. So I just selected it and copied it. And I'm going to go back to the back end and I'm going to position this above the form that we just put in. So I'll just add a return here so I can get some space at the top, and I'll hit Control V to go ahead and put that piece of text in there. And I'm going to go ahead and stylize this with the strong tag, which will make it bold. Okay, so I added strong here, then I added a / strong, which closes off that little bit of HTML text. I'll hit save. Okay, and then I'll go back and just take a look how that looks on the front end. So we'll hit return or hit refresh, and you'll see that my little bit of code is up there. How about we put this "we will protect your information" line in here as well? So I would copy that, go back, go all the way to the bottom, add a space, and then hit Control V, and I'll put my code down there as well. Now if we go ahead and save that, we can just take a quick peek at it on the front end. And I went and saved that, and we'll hit refresh, and we should have our code there. That's looking great. Okay, so a couple of things that we probably want to do. This is all really squeezed in there. There's no spacing, and you can just get quick spacing in there just by clicking the automatically add paragraphs check or option right there. When you hit save and go back out, then it should go ahead and put in some spacing for us, which you see it did. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is just to center everything up, similar to what we have up top. So what we do is go back, and what we can include here is just at the beginning we're going to use a center tag. So you can just hit a return and get yourself some space up top, hit center, and then scroll all the way to the bottom, and then we're going to close that tag. So that tag is a center tag, which is this left bracket, center, close that bracket, and then down here we have left bracket and then a / center, close that bracket. That should center everything in between these two tags so that, you know, it looks aligned like our other form. So let's go ahead and see if it did that for us. And as you can see, it did do it. Everything is centered and ready to go. And this looks very similar to the top one. Now, you might be wondering, look, how can I get first name in there, or a name just like we had up in there. And in MailChimp, you actually have to go back, and when you had your naked form options here, it gave you an option of only including the required fields, which was the email address, or all your fields, which is this right here, which would include first name and last name. Okay, so you would actually have to make sure you would grab the embed code for all of that. And maybe we can just do it very quickly here. I can show you. So we've added email address, first name, last name. Okay, so we create our embed code, and then we'll grab all this code here. So we'll Control A to select it all, and Command C to click it, or Control C to paste it, or I'm sorry, to copy it. And then go back into our widgets. And here we just have to be a little bit careful. We don't want to disturb anything other than this begin MailChimp sign up form and all the way down to end MC embed sign up. So we would hit return to get rid of all of that, or to delete it all. We'll paste our new code in there, hit save, and then go back to the front end and take a look and see how it did. And you can see it has email address, first name, last name, subscribe. Okay, so you can manipulate that by going back into MailChimp. And let's say you just didn't like how that looks. You want to actually have first name and then email address, no last name, and subscribe. And to actually do that, you would just have to go back to your forms and redo it from there, okay, or make your changes from there. So up top within MailChimp, you can go back to create forms. And remember, this is for the 1K Reader Challenge webinar. And here is the form that we're dealing with. So if I wanted to change that up, I would say, well, I want my first name to be up top. So I would actually mouse over into this area and grab it and drag it to where I want it to go. Okay, sometimes it doesn't take, so it's easier sometimes just to grab your email address and move it down. See that? And then let's say I don't want to have my last name, so I can click on that and I'll get the plus and the minus here. I would hit minus, and MailChimp makes sure that you want to do that, so you want to delete that, so I actually have to type in delete to delete it. Okay, and then this preferred format, I really don't want that there, but we're able to take that out in the other menu, so that's fine. So first name, email address, that's all there. All I have to do is say save and exit from here. And then if I want to get back to where I was before to grab my embed code, I would grab forms. And then I would go to share it here. And then, as you can see here, I can go to create form HTML or create HTML code for a small subscribe form. I'll hit that there. A few more steps to go through on MailChimp's end. We would hit naked form, and we would have our options again, and then we're going to have to redo our options. So we wanted to take out the title of the form. We want to use all fields, and what you can see here is that now that's reflecting the first name and the email address in the new order that we wanted it. So that's great. We'll take out interest group fields, we'll take out the required field indicators, and we'll take out the format options to get it back to where it was before. We'll go ahead and put in 250 again, just for the width of the form, and then once that is all finished, then we'll just hit create embed code over here, and then select all of this embed code, hit Command C to copy it, or Control C on a PC, hop back over to our widgets area, and carefully replace all that code between begin MailChimp sign up form all the way down to this end MC embed sign up. Okay, so you'll just have to grab all of that, hit delete so you can take it all out, hit paste all that new code that you put in. Okay, so all that new code is back in there. Hit save, and let's go to the front end, and if everything worked out correctly, we should just have first name, email address in the style that we want it, in the order that we want it, and we're all set to go. And that is your MailChimp form, now inserted into the sidebar of your blog. Like I said, MailChimp requires a few more steps, but you can get it in there and still make it look great. I made this video for you so you can go back and forth between the video and your application so you can get it just right, and it'll make it easier for you. Go ahead and get that email opt-in form in there and start building your list today. Again, this is Stan Smith, and I'll talk to you soon.